guys to our very first longer at-home yoga class. Today is basically going to be a little bit more of a beginner style, I want to say. I will throw in a few variations for, if you've done yoga for longer. But this way, if you have never done yoga before, you can totally jump in. If you are a little bit weaker, maybe you just recovered from being a bit sick, perfect practice for you as well. It's kind of like a new starting point to refresh our bodies, to feel open again, just to have that movement in and not be stiff anymore. First off, all you really need is a yoga mat. If you don't have a yoga mat and you have even carpeted space, perfectly fine too, but some sort of mat to just have that extra cushioning is of course better. Another thing we want to have is a wall behind us. So that's why you can see my mat's pushed very close up against the wall. So if you have a space that has a wall, doors that at least when you put your feet against it aren't gonna go flying through, honestly even the back of a couch. You can use that as well because a couch usually is heavier and doesn't slide. Any space like that, because we will at one point have legs up the wall and do a few little wall stretches. If you do have blocks with you, bring them to the mat as well. Towards the end during Savasana, I will give you an option with blocks. And I do want to make a note that it is an at-home practice. So a thing to keep in mind is, even just like in this video, you may hear some noise from our upstairs. That's something that we can't escape. It's an at-home practice. We're gonna have noise around us. If you have kids, you might have kids literally running around your mat while you're doing this. But that's kind of the whole point, is to really get through that outside noise. Learn how to do our yoga practice, tune into the breath, and focus on us in that moment, no matter what or no matter who is around us. So with that being said, we're gonna get started. So I'm gonna clear just obviously blocks off the mat. And we're gonna come starting in Savasana. So come lay down on your back on the mat, nice and flat, with those legs straight. Let the ankles hang, let them be at ease. Arms down the mat with the palms facing up, that way our shoulders rotate nice and open. With a few gentle blinks, let the eyes start to close, and just begin by following the natural breath, just allowing yourself the chance to really arrive on the mat and arrive in your space. Begin to lengthen the breath. Taking nice long inhales, long exhales. Really feel every inhale lifting and expanding every inch and corner of the body. And every exhale, you get to just be at ease for that moment. Every inhale makes you feel more light, more calm. You feel the inhale lifting the stomach, the chest. Every exhale lowering the chest and the stomach. And we follow our breath because it's that one constant. It's our anchor to the present moment, the here and now. And that's where we want our minds to remain. But if your mind does wander from time to time, it's almost impossible to not think. Just acknowledge where the mind wanders to. And then bring it back to the breath each and every time. With practice, it becomes a lot easier. But for now, we just acknowledge the wandering mind and come back to the breath. Still lengthening that breath. Feel every inhale, breathing in positivity, breathing in love, breathe in patience. And every exhale, we use that to breathe out anything unwanted, anything that doesn't serve us. Breathe out that tension. Breathe out any doubt or judgment within us, letting it all go and start our practice nice and fresh. A few more nice deep breaths. Follow it all the way through. Gently begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes, just bringing some sensation back to the body. Reach the arms up above the head and take that nice long body stretch. With a few gentle blinks, open up the eyes and start by bringing the knees right to the chest. Nice and tight, give them that squeeze. Rock a little side to side, give your low back a nice massage. Then hanging onto the right knee, straighten the left leg down the mat. Squeeze that right knee nice and tight and then begin to draw circles with that right knee. Make sure to switch it up, going in both directions, maybe after a few little circles. That way we keep balance within the hip. Stopping back in the center, allow that right knee to slowly drop to the left side. Gentle twist, maybe reach the right arm out to the side. And here, don't worry if your knee can't drop all the way to the mat. We're not worrying about a deep twist yet. This is just a warm-up. If you have a really stiff back, be gentle with yourself. Lifting that right knee back up and straighten it down the mat, bringing that left knee to the chest, hug it tight, and then draw those little circles with the knees, still going in both directions, just letting ourselves start to dig into the hip a bit. And then stopping in the center, let that left knee drop to the right side, again taking it nice and gentle, maybe reaching that left arm out to the side. Lifting that left knee back up, straighten it down the mat as well as your arms. Tuck your hands just underneath the glutes, a little bit of core heating up here. We're going to point our toes and inhale as you start to lift the legs away from the mat as high as they can go. Exhale, lower them nice and slow and controlled. Try not to let the feet touch the mat as they lower down. Inhale back up. Exhale, lower. Inhale back up. Exhale, lower. Inhale back up. Exhale, lower. One more inhale back up. And on this exhale, just let them lower all the way down to the mat. Bring the knees back to the chest for one more nice tight squeeze. And either roll to one side or begin to rock back and forth till you come up to that comfortable cross-legged seated position. Just have your hands draped a little bit over the knees, sit nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. Try not to ever shrug them up to the ears. Take your chin and start to tilt it up towards the ceiling. Feel yourself reaching with the chin, that way we don't crush the back of our necks. We just want to get that nice stretch in the front of the neck, even let the lips part slightly. Just 2 nice breaths. And then lifting the head back up, tuck the chin to the chest. Here, if you want more pressure, just use the hands on the back of the head and gently tug down. You can even rock it a little bit side to side, not too much, just to really start to open up the back of our neck. And release. Bring that right ear to the right shoulder, right hand over to the left ear, and gently give your head that tug. Allowing that neck to open up, really breathe into it. Feel that left shoulder sinking down, deepening the stretch. You can always nod your head, finding that tight point, and then just hold there. And release. Of course, switching it up, bring that left ear to the left shoulder, left hand over to the right ear, and again, just gently tug down. Feel the right shoulder this time actively sinking away from the ear, deepen that stretch. And again, nod your head, finding that tight point, and hold there. And release. Bring the hands to the mat in front and start to walk them over to that left side, going in for another gentle twist. Sit that spine nice and straight as it begins to twist. Reach that left arm a bit further behind you. Right hand can be used against the knee to help push a bit deeper. You can always take your gaze towards the back, but if you do have any injury or arthritis in the neck, just keep your gaze forward. And begin to walk the hands back to the center and over to the right side. Same thing, we want to have that right arm reaching a bit further behind us, left hand on the knee to help push a bit deeper, gaze to the back. Make sure your shoulders are nice and wide, nice and open, that way we don't start hunching our backs. And walking the hands back to the center. Just rest the hands gently over the knees as you inhale, begin to puff that chest forwards and start to draw a circle with the chest towards the back, rounding it when you get there. Just continuing that circle. Every inhale, chest puffs forwards. Every exhale, the back rounds. As big or as small movements as you need. If it's a little bit sore, take your time. Here you'll notice things creaking, cracking. Start to become aware of the body. Start to feel what's tight. Feel what's loose. Any pains or soreness, make sure you're aware of that. That way we can respect that throughout our entire practice. Take any modification you may need. And roll in the opposite direction. Don't forget to work with the shoulder blades here as well. Squeeze them together as the chest puffs and push them apart as you round that back. Even while we roll, notice your energy levels as well. Just like we do with every other part of our body, we want to respect our energy levels throughout the practice. And rolling your way back up to the center. Bring your right hand to the mat beside you. Inhale the left arm up, really lengthen that spine, and exhale as you reach over to the right. Maybe take your gaze to the ceiling. A few things we want to make sure is the shoulders are still relaxed from the ears. We're not hunching them up. Feel that spine lengthening as you curve. That way we aren't crushing into our low backs. You want to feel that left hip sinking towards the mat as you reach over to the right, really helping to open up that side body. Use the breath. Every inhale opens the ribs, expands the body. And next breath, lift yourself back up. Inhale the right arm up and exhale it over to the left. Still feel that lengthening in the spine before you curve. Take your gaze to the ceiling. Again though, if you have any injuries in the neck, just keep your gaze forwards. Every inhale, feel the ribs expanding. Every exhale, let yourself maybe sink just that bit further. Right hip sinks to the mat as you reach to the left. Next breath, lift your way back up to the center. Then we're going to step our feet out in front of us with the knees bent and just rock them a little side to side. Again, working a bit with the hips. Try not to allow your whole upper body to turn, because it kind of defeats the purpose a lot. You want to just really work a bit more with the hips here. And then step your feet a little bit further apart, and again, just rock them side to side. Try to press those knees down when you get there. You'll even notice maybe one side a bit tighter than the other. Make note of it, get to know your body. And then just swing your knees to one side and come right up to that neutral tabletop. Make sure your wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And on that first inhale, sink your stomach down towards the mat, tilt that head and pelvis up. And exhale, reach high with the mid-back, tucking the head and pelvis under. Inhale, sink, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And exhale, reach high from that mid-back, pushing those shoulder blades apart. And continue to follow your natural breath. Let it guide the movement. If you haven't already, make sure you are really connecting with the breath. Every inhale, at the top of it, you want to make sure your stomach is sunk to that lowest point. And on every exhale, your mid-back reaching that highest point. Make sure you're squeezing those shoulder blades together as you inhale, as that stomach sinks. And as you exhale, make sure your shoulder blades are pushing apart. Feel the back warming up, that spine getting a little bit more mobile. And after your next natural exhale, come back to that neutral tabletop. As you inhale, open your chest to the right, reach that right arm all the way up. Try to twist with more of the back rather than torquing that shoulder. And exhale back to the mat. Inhale, open to the left, reach that left arm all the way up. And exhale back down. Inhale to the right. Exhale down. Inhale to the left. Exhale down. Another inhale to the right. Exhale down, and last inhale to the left. Exhale back down. Now as you inhale, reach that right arm forwards and left leg up behind you. As you exhale, bring that elbow and knee to touch underneath the body, just slightly rounding that back. Inhale back up, slow and controlled. Exhale underneath. Inhale back up. Exhale to touch. Inhale back up. Another exhale to touch. Last inhale back up and just hold here, making sure you're dropping down that left hip a little bit, keeping in line with the right. Try to round slightly just a bit through that upper back, that way you aren't sinking into your shoulder blade. Nice tight core, make it feel like you're trying to suck that belly button to the spine. Deep breathing and release. Now on your next inhale, reach that left arm forwards, right leg up behind, and exhale, bring that elbow and knee to touch underneath. Inhale back up, still slow and controlled. Exhale to touch. Inhale up. Exhale to touch. Inhale back up. Another exhale to touch. Inhale back up and just hold here. Again, make sure that right hip is dropping down a bit. Keep it in line with the left. Shoulders strong, core strong. Deep breathing. And release back to the mat. Step that right foot up behind you, tuck the toes under and just push the heel down. Just a nice light stretch, opening our toes, Achilles tendon, our calf. You can always pulse a bit here if you prefer, if that feels best, or just remain static. Begin to roll to the inside edge of that right foot. Inhale as we reach the right arm up, and even try to open it behind you so that chest is opening up towards the ceiling. Exhale back to the mat. Inhale back up, open the chest. Exhale down. Inhale back up, open the chest, and exhale down. Inhale back up. Open your chest, and last exhale back down. Bring that right knee back in. Step that left foot out behind you, tuck the toes under, and push the heel down. Remembering again, you can still pulse here a little bit if that worked best. Already try not to sink into those shoulders. Roll to the inside edge of that left foot. Inhale as you reach the left arm up. Again, try to reach the arm behind you, opening up the chest a little bit more, and exhale back down. Inhale up, open the chest. Exhale down. Inhale up, open your chest. Exhale down. Another inhale back up, opening that chest, and last exhale back down, bringing that left knee back in. Here we're going to bring our knees about hip-width distance apart and lift up on them. Our hands are going to rest right above the butt, right beside the sacrum. And here, the first thing we want to do, squeeze the glutes together nice and tight. Inhale, puff the chest, and exhale, start to lean the hips forwards a bit as you lean your chest back, either dropping the head behind you or tuck the chin to the chest. Here, we want to really make sure we're working more with the chest here, feeling it really reaching forwards and up, and that way we don't collapse into the low back. Still be squeezing those glutes. Feel the shoulder blades and elbows squeezing together to help puff that chest. If you can't breathe, you're pushing a little too far, so make sure you're still breathing. 2 more breaths. Lift your way back up. Sit down on those ankles. Open up the knees and reach those arms forwards for child's pose. Bring the forehead to the mat. And while resting here, you want to make sure that you feel your shoulder blades still sinking down your back with the crown of the head reaching forwards. That way you're actively lengthening that spine. Just helping it neutralize a bit better. Feel the pressure on the third eye. Allow it to activate, allow it to open up. 2 more nice deep breaths. And lifting yourself back to that neutral tabletop. Here we're going to tuck the toes underneath, sit back on those heels, and just simply rest here for a few breaths. If this is a little bit too much, just bring your hands forwards onto the mat, and that way you can gauge how much weight you actually want to put down. If you're very used to this, I mean, like me, my toes are very open, you can always add some balance to the mix by just lifting the knees away from the mat, bring your hands to your thighs, and try to hold there. 2 breaths, let's do them together as you inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, inhale, and exhale. Coming back to that neutral tabletop, just give your toes a bit of a tap to the mat, get the ankles of blood flowing, maybe even roll them around a little. So now we're going to rest on the tops of our feet, sit back on the heels. If this is a little bit too much, you can always take the block that you have, maybe a pillow, and actually just place it underneath your butt to help alleviate some of that pressure. Reach the arms forwards with the palms facing each other. As you inhale, draw the elbows towards the body, puff that chest, and exhale, shoot the arms behind you, swing them outside and around to the front, curving that back. Inhale, draw the arms forwards, arch your back, gaze to the ceiling. Exhale, arms shoot behind you, around to the front, round that back, tuck the chin to the chest. A few more here, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more inhale, and last exhale. Come back to that neutral tabletop. We're going to step behind us in a nice high plank. Try to keep the hips as parallel to the mat as you can. We don't want them shooting up to the ceiling. Find your upper back rounding just a little bit. That way we aren't dropping into our shoulders. Keep that core nice and tight. Suck that belly button to the spine. Deep breathing. Palms flat to the mat and fingertips spread out. One more nice deep breath. And begin to walk the feet towards the hands. Going right to a forward fold. Palms flat to the mat. Bend your knees as much as you need so your stomach rests gently against the thighs. Relax the neck. Don't hold any unwanted tension there. Here we want to feel our pelvis tipping up. It's that feeling as if you're trying to almost stick your butt up towards the ceiling. So instead of rounding our backs, we're tilting that pelvis up. 2 nice breaths. And then begin to roll your way up to standing. Here we're going to inhale the arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Again, still bending your knees as much as you need. Palms flat to the mat. Relax the neck. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins. Lift halfway up. Squeeze those shoulder blades together for that flat back. Reach through the crown of that head. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale the arms all the way back up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, lift halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Stepping the right foot back here, staying lifted on the toes. And bend into that front knee for a high lunge. We're going to inhale the arms forwards and up. Relax the shoulders, hold for a nice handful of breaths. Make sure that front knee is right above the ankle, not shooting past. We want to feel those hips sinking down towards the mat, let them open, but also feel your chest drawing backwards a bit. That way we're not puffing it forwards. We draw the chest back and feel the pelvis tucking under a little bit. Another 2 breaths, hold nice and steady. Now we're going to drop that back heel down, turning it in slightly for a warrior 2. Open the arms, reaching that left arm forwards, right arm back. You can always take a look, make sure the arms are in line with one another. Still, shoulders relaxed. Feel the hips really opening up to the right side of that mat. Make sure though that the knee isn't drawing in. We want to still feel that knee opening up. Feel the spine nice and straight. Don't be reaching far forwards. Find a point of focus, maybe on that index finger in front of you. Deep breathing. Then begin to drop that back hand down the leg, and the front hand reaches over your head towards that back wall. Side body stretch, gaze to the ceiling. Coming back to that warrior two, bring the hands to heart center, a little bit of balance here. Put all the weight into your front leg and try to swing that right leg forwards, up in front of you with that knee at a nice 90-degree angle. Hold there. You can micro bend that left leg a little bit, working with the strength to steady yourself. Flex the foot. If you want to add a bit of a twist, bring that left leg to the left arm to the outside of your right leg. Right arm starts to reach behind you nice and slow. Few deep breaths. Bring the hands back to heart center, release that right leg to the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, lift halfway up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Of course, now with our left side, stepping that left foot out behind us, lift it on the toes, bend into that front knee, high lunge. Inhale the arms forwards and up, relax the shoulders, draw that chest back a bit, tuck the pelvis under and let the hips sink. Deep breathing. Feel as if your thighs are almost like drawing in towards each other, keeping it nice and strong. A few more breaths. Shifting into our warrior two by dropping that back heel down, turning it in slightly. Arms open wide, that right arm reaches forwards, left arm reaches back. Again, make sure the arms are in line with one another. Shoulders relaxed, spine nice and straight. Feel that strong stance. It's as if your feet are trying to basically tear that mat in two. Point of focus, deep breath. Drop that back hand down the back leg, front arm reaches over your head towards the back wall, side body stretch. Coming back to our warrior two, hands to heart center, back to that balancing pose, weight in the front leg. Start to shift that back leg forwards in front of you, lifting it up, trying to keep that 90-degree angle with the knees. That's why we have a wall beside us. In case you wobble, you can still hold onto the wall for stability. It's a great prop. Try to micro bend that right knee a little bit, working with some strength in the leg rather than just locking it tight. If you want to add that twist again, right hand comes outside of the left leg, left arm reaches behind you, take it nice and slow. You can always challenge yourself by even taking your gaze towards the back. Again, if you feel like you're losing that balance, use the wall, that couch, whatever you were beside, hang on to it. And bring your hands back to heart center, release that left leg to the mat. Inhale the arms up again, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, lift halfway up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up, and exhale, hands to heart center. Now here we're going to bring our feet about a bit more than hip width distance apart with the heels turned in slightly. Inhale as you puff your chest, and exhale, start to squat all the way down to Malasana or yoga squat. Here, if you have really bad knees or hips, you can always grab those blocks, pillows, anything to just sit on to help keep the hips a little bit more lifted, or you could place your hand in front of you and your butt will be a little bit lifted. If not, just let all that tension go, let your butt hang, open those hips. Hands to heart center. You can even use your elbows between the knees to help push them apart. Nice flat back as much as you can by squeezing the shoulder blades together. Few deep breaths, find that point of focus. Maybe on the floor or the wall in front of you, and breathe to it. We still want to keep ourselves in the here and now. Long inhales, long exhales. From here, if you've got any of those blocks or pillows underneath your hips, just slide them to the side. Bring your hands to the mat, and we're going to step that right foot out behind us. Then you're going to heel toe that left foot more forwards and between your hands. From here, just simply rock a little back and forth, just getting a bit more into our hips. And And then remaining steady, we're going to drop that right knee down, untuck the toes. From here, a bit more of an active low lunge. Bring your hands to your knees and let those hips sink. We do, though, however, want to make sure that that front knee doesn't pass the ankle and it just stays right above. Take a nice deep breath. Similar to our high lunge, we also want to make sure that we're not completely collapsing our low back, puffing our chest too much. So we want to draw that chest in a little bit. 2 more breaths. And come hands back to the mat, tuck the back toes under, use that to help lift the hips, and try to switch up the legs, dragging that left foot back and swinging that right foot forwards between the hands. Before dropping down that back knee, make sure to rock a little bit forwards and back. Just loosening up our hips a little bit more. And then coming back to center, drop that back knee down, untuck the toes, hands to the knees, lift that body up, and then let the hips sink. Still make sure that knee is right above the ankle. Chest a little bit drawn back, shoulders always relaxed, deep breaths. Take those heavy exhales here. Really try to release that tension in the hips and legs to let the body sink. And bring our hands back to the mat. Tuck the back toes underneath, lift those hips. Try to drag that right foot back. And with your knees or not, just lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Keep your hands underneath the shoulders. This will just be light support. We're going to squeeze our glutes together. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades, and start to pull the chest away from the mat. Hands are just there for light support, so if you remove them, you won't go falling back down for a cobra. Take those deep breaths, still be squeezing everything, and release. Take one nice deep breath. And then on your next inhale, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the shoulder blades, pull the chest away from the mat. A few nice breaths, keep your gaze forward. And release back down. One nice breath. Then we're going to bring our elbows underneath our shoulders. This will prop you up, hands pointing forwards. I'm going to scooch a little back here. So here we've got a few cues we want to follow. Just like the last one, squeeze the glutes. That protects and activates the low back. We want to make sure that our shoulders are away from the ears. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and then puff that chest. Keep your gaze forwards or a little bit down towards the mat. Try not to crank it to the ceiling. This will just help to work on building some more of the muscle to our back, strengthening it while we gain that flexibility. And that way we don't get too much flexibility, because that obviously is not necessarily a good thing if you don't have the strength there. This does both, which is perfect. Holding for those few breaths. Sometimes the longer we hold it, the more we start to feel our body relaxing. If you do, catch yourself, notice it. No judgment to yourself either. But we just want to notice it so that way we can then squeeze the glutes, shoulder blades together, puff the chest. 2 more deep breaths. And then begin to relax the body. Use those hands to help lift yourself back up and sit back in a child's pose. Knees apart, sit on the heels, reach the arms forwards and bring that forehead to the mat. This is always one of the best counter poses for any back bends. This way we get to lengthen our spine, help neutralize it, instead of just doing a right forward fold. We don't want to do too much back bending and then too much forward fold. It's a little bit much for the spine sometimes in one day, so you work on one thing at a time. Still feel those shoulder blades dropping down the back, the crown of the head reaching forwards, and have that pressure on that third eye between the brows. Few breaths. And then begin to lift yourself back to that neutral tabletop. Put your knees to one side of the mat so you can drop your weight and just simply swing those legs out in front of you. Now here, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop apart. Grab a hold of the feet and sit nice and tall. Same as you've been hearing me say this entire time, squeeze those shoulder blades together, crown reaches tall, and on this we want to, on our next exhale, reach from the chest forwards and down. This way it'll help us keep our backs more flat, because if we're reaching with our neck, we start to create that curve, that bend that we don't want. Make sure the chin is slightly tucked. And if we're not reaching from our chest and using our hands, sometimes we just start to do this. Makes it a lot easier, but it defeats the purpose. So always reach forwards from the chest. You can always use your elbows to help wiggle the shins down a little bit further. Always use every exhale to try to release any tension from the hips, from the legs. Feel everything leaving on that exhale. The inhale gains power, the exhale releases that stress. If you find your hamstrings are really, really tight or any injuries in the knees and you don't want to put that much pressure, use that wall or couch beside you, lean up against the wall, allowing the back to relax a little bit and just let the knees hang. You could simply do that, a bit more of a restorative type, I guess you could say. If not, push yourself a little bit. It's always okay to push yourself as long as you're not feeling any sharp pinches, sharp pains. We want to just feel that typical discomfort that, yes, every stretch will give you. So breathe through it. Feel those inhales, feel the exhales. Inhale, bring that power. Exhale, let the body sink, release any heaviness or pressure. 2 more breaths. Lifting the body back up. And then begin to lift the knees back together and just let them sway a little side to side. And stopping back in the center, we want to straighten up the legs in front of us. Flex the feet, micro bend the knees. We're still going to sit nice and tall, always working with that flat back if we can. Inhale as you puff the chest. Exhale, reach that chest forwards and down, having your knees bent to the point to where your stomach can almost comfortably rest on those thighs. Reach the arms forwards, trying to grab over the tops of the toes to the soles of the feet. If not, you can always just use your fingers and hook on the big toes. Once there, you can let the neck relax just a little bit. Try to still keep the shoulders away from the ears. Don't be reaching with them, because again, that lets us round our back. Here, if you don't feel much, just start to press the feet into the hands, wiggle the legs a little bit more straight. If not, just bend the knees a bit more, but still feel yourself reaching from the chest for that nice flat back and get that nice stretch underneath the hamstrings. 2 nice breaths. And release. Lift yourself up, give your legs a little bit of a wiggle, just so we can get everything flowing again. Maybe roll out your wrists even here, roll out the ankles a little bit. And then this is the point where we're going to shift a little bit closer to the wall for our legs up the wall. So shifting as close to the wall as we can, bring your knees closer to the chest and start to lean your weight back, swiveling and kicking those legs up the wall. You can always wiggle a little bit closer if you feel your butt and legs are farther away. Relax the neck, straighten the legs, let the feet just hang. Just giving this a little bit of time here. We want to let the blood flow from our feet and our legs back to our head and our heart. You can open the arms wide, maybe even do cactus arms, which is bending at the elbow to that 90 degrees and letting them relax. Here we just want to take the time to focus on the breath again, making sure we didn't get too carried away with any stretch or strengthening. We want to really just breathe. If you found your breath getting shallow and rapid again, take this time to lengthen it. Feel the inhales expanding every corner of the body, every exhale releasing any stress, any tension within us. Use the inhales, still always breathing in that positivity, breathing in contentment. And exhale, release anything that no longer serves us. Keep letting it go. One more breath. And from here, we're going to just very simply open the legs up to a nice split stretch up the wall. Allow the legs to open up as wide as they'll go. If you have really solidly tight hamstrings and you're feeling tugging underneath the knees, micro bend the knees a little bit, and that way it guides the tension more towards the groin rather than right towards the knees. If not, keep your legs nice and straight, allow the feet to hang. We just want to sort of let gravity take it. You don't need to use your hands and pull them down. The longer you rest here, of course, the better the stretch will be over time. So you can always, if you're doing your own practice, maybe pause it here, sit for longer if you prefer, especially if you feel really, really tight in something like this. Again, you can open up the arms or go to your cactus arms. Just taking some time for breath. Every inhale, notice your stomach rising, filling with the air, the chest expanding, the collarbone lifting. Every exhale, the air starts by leaving from the collarbone first. The chest deflates, followed by the stomach. Just feel the natural pattern of your breath. We're still trying to lengthen it a bit here. But notice if you're breathing a lot from the chest or more from the stomach. Notice if there's any soreness with the breath by this point, or if it's even more relaxing than when you started. Following the inhales all the way to the top and the exhales all the way to the bottom. Just a few more breaths here. The easier way to lift our legs back up, you can just lift them right back to the center if you want. I prefer to start to bend at the knees a little bit, loosening up the muscles, and then bring the legs back together, straighten them up the wall, give them a moment there. Then we're going to take that right foot, cross it over the left thigh. Use your right hand to help push the right knee open a little bit more. And then when you feel ready, start to walk that left foot down the wall so the knee comes closer to the chest. Only take it as far as you feel you can while your body is still as relaxed as it can be. We want to keep as much tension out of the hips, out of the legs as we can. Here you want to feel the right knee always pushing away from the body as that left knee comes towards the body. That way our hips become a little bit more parallel with one another. You can use your hands to help just keep that right knee away from the body, but make sure the shoulders are relaxed. We still don't want to be tightening those shoulders up. Keep them at ease, feel the shoulder blades flat to the mat. Few breaths here. For those who are already a little bit further in this pose, you can always use your arms, wrapping the right arm around the right knee, left arm around the foot, and pull the leg in closer as you straighten that left leg back up the wall. Just another variation to take it a little bit further. If not, just stay again as easy as you need to take the pose. Do that. It's always safer to take it nice and slow. We don't want to have any sharp pains. Ease your way into it. One more breath, and then slowly straighten that left leg up. Gently straighten the right leg back up the wall, give them a bit of a shake. And then of course, reverse side. Left foot comes to the outside of that right thigh. Left hand pushes the left knee open. And when you're ready, start to walk the right foot down the wall, bringing that left leg closer to the body. We want to still feel that left knee pushing away from the body as that right knee comes towards us, keeping those hips parallel with one another. Again, you can keep that left hand on the knee to help push it away from the body. Always be gentle, shoulders relaxed. You can use those heavy exhales here if you feel tension in the body. Try to release anything within the hips, within the legs. Let go of any pressure, any judgment, any worries. Continue to breathe it out. Just a few more breaths. Remember too, that variation, if you want to take it deeper, wrapping that left arm around the left knee, right arm around the left foot, And straighten up that right leg. That way you're using your arms to pull the leg in towards the body. And again, rest where it's most comfortable, where you're getting that gentle stretch, a gentle discomfort. And start to straighten that right leg back up the wall. Left leg comes up the wall as well. Give the knees a little bit of a wiggle. From here, going right into a twist, we're going to bring the knees towards the chest, hug them tight, and then allow the knees to start to drop to that left side. The feet can even be right against the wall. Open your arms up nice and wide and take your gaze to the right. Again, if you do have any injuries or arthritis in the neck, keep your gaze up to the ceiling. To deepen it, you can always use that left hand on the knees to help pull them down, especially if they're still a little bit lifted. If you find that it's just too tight for you, you can always scoot a bit away from the wall. That way your knees can be pushed away from the chest. Or simply take some blocks or pillows and place them between the knees to keep it lifted to where it's comfortable. Be gentle with that low back, especially if your body is still really, really tight. If not, let gravity take it. Use the hand to help press the knees down just a bit. You'll notice your breath here is shortened, but you can still keep it slow and controlled. Don't give in to the rapid breathing. And then start to slowly lift those knees back up to the center. And of course, let them take their time dropping to that right side. Modifying the twist for what works best. Arms nice and open. Work with how your body is feeling. Always remember, sharp pinches, sharp pains, negative. We want to make sure we ease up by that point. Gentle discomfort is where it's at. Breathe through it. Short breaths here, but slow and controlled. Two more breaths. And gently lift those knees back up to the center, hug them tight, and try to bring the forehead towards the knees, curling up to that tight little ball, helping neutralize the spine. Relax the neck, rock a little side to side, give that low back a bit of a massage. And stopping back in the center to bring ourselves back to our mat, let your body roll completely to one side. Use the hands to help lift your way up, and scoot yourself centered to your mat again. Kick those legs out straight, just give them a bit of a shake. Maybe roll those wrists again, ankles, just give yourself a little bit of movement. And then we're going to sink ourselves down to our mat for that final Savasana. 3 options here I will give you, and we will take our Savasana together. First option is our typical one. Legs a little bit more open towards the edges of the mat, let the feet hang. Arms down by your sides with the palms up so the shoulders rotate open. Tuck those shoulder blades underneath, maybe even take a moment, move the glutes out from underneath, let that tailbone sink. So that would be our option 1. Option 2, if you want to still work with the opening of the hips, just bring the soles of the feet together and let those knees fall apart for butterfly legs, resting here for your Savasana. For those who do have blocks with them, another option would be for opening the chest. So really working with that, you can always use pillows, you can use a foam roller. Sometimes those might be a little more uncomfortable, but if you have blocks, we're going to take them on the lowest setting and place them behind us horizontally, but we want to make sure there's that little bit of space in between for our spine. So you're going to place them down. Again, remember that you're leaving that space in between for the spine there, so it'll be comfortable. We want the blocks to be resting right towards the bottom of the shoulder blades, still a little bit higher, not right at the mid-back, and that way it really opens up the chest and opens up the diaphragm. So if you have those in place, take your time finding that nice spot, the spot that works best, spine in the middle, arms open, and let that neck drop behind you. You can even use the cactus arms again, bending at the elbows, just resting here. So once you've chosen your Savasana, allow your body to relax. Allow the eyes to start to close. Take a few more nice deep breaths. Since we were in those twists with the short breathing, we really want to expand the body, expand the ribs again before returning to your natural breath. No need to struggle anymore at this point. Just breathe. Still feeling each breath, still feel all those inhales, all the exhales. Feeling your body becoming a bit more grounded to that mat below. Notice your toes, everything underneath the foot to the ankles relaxed. The calves through the hamstrings nicely stretched out, allowing for that space underneath the knees. Allow your hips to be open, feeling them sinking towards the mat below, helping to ground the lower half of the body. Still feeling that stomach rise and fall, the chest rise and fall with every breath. Feel the shoulders like the hips open but sinking to that mat below you. This time it's grounding the upper half of the body. Feel every muscle down the arms, the biceps, the forearms, everything through the wrist to the fingertips, just letting go. Make sure the jaw is unclenched, even let the lips part slightly, every facial muscle at ease. Feel your gaze inside but towards that third eye between the brows. Just taking those nice breaths here, every inhale you're feeling more light and more calm. Every exhale letting go anything else that you find lingering within you. The end of your practice, it's the time to continue to release whatever is attached. Still knowing at this point if the mind wanders, you can acknowledge it, but try to still come back to that breath, keeping yourself within the body. Few more breaths. If you're in butterfly legs, with those knees open, just take a moment to straighten the legs down the mat, just letting them rest there. Gently wiggle the fingers and the toes, bringing some sensation back to the body. Begin to reach the arms up above the head and take that nice long body stretch. Leaving your right arm where it is, bring the left hand to the stomach, bend at the knees, and very gently roll to that right side. If you're on the blocks, be very, very careful as you roll off the blocks to the right, resting for a moment in the fetal position, maybe using that right arm as a pillow for the head. And then begin with eyes still closed. Use those hands to lift your way back up in a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Have your palms up over the knees, tailbone tucked under slightly, chest a bit puffed, shoulders relaxed, and reaching tall through the crown of that head. Begin to exhale all remaining air. Start your first deep inhale through the nose and sigh through the mouth. Deep inhale through the nose, sigh through the mouth. Last deep inhale through the nose, really feed the body and release it through the mouth. Bring your hands together at heart center and rub those palms together. Create your own heat, your own energy. Place your hands over your heart, covering up that heart chakra. Feel the heat just flowing back in with every pulse, every beat. Allowing your heart to remain open, but let it continue to heal. Bring your hands back to heart center with a few gentle blinks. Allow the eyes to softly open. Namaste.